Let's start with events on Saturday lunchtime at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs and Manchester United drew 2-2. Clinton Morrison still alongside. Who do you think will feel better at the end of that game?
Man United will feel better because of the late goal they scored through Delete. I know Tottenham scored a late goal, but Tottenham will be probably more disappointed because being 2-1 up and literally the last kick, but it wasn't a kick, the last head of the game by Matty's Delete, and Man United get the point. But I'll be honest with you, Rob, I didn't cover the game. Tim was watching the game in the studio, and the game lacked quality by all accounts. It was nowhere near good enough. It was both teams that are struggling at the moment, even though Man United have been in decent form, but Tottenham at home have been nowhere near good enough. It's not till he made the changes and they managed to get on the front foot and cause problems and test Lammers in the Man United goal. But as I said, probably a better point for Man United because Tottenham were 2-1 up.
They met in the Europa League final, 171.
And it showed that quality. That was the same quality.
Well, who do you think's made more progress since then?
Well, you'd say probably Tottenham have made the most progress. Because, no, that's a difficult one. Because Man United have been okay. Man United have been all right recently. So I'd say both have made the same progress at the minute. I'd say both. I know Tottenham are ahead and they've got a new manager in Thomas Frank. Ruben Amorim over the last month and a half has been under, well, not the last month and a half, the whole season has been under pressure. But every time he's been under pressure, they've managed to find results. And they've gone on a little bit of a run recently. So I think both teams have made good progress. We'll have to judge that come the end of the season to see if anyone can win a trophy or where they finish in the league.
You talked about the two managers there. It's interesting, isn't it? Because watching the game on Saturday lunchtime, the United fans were singing the manager's name. I think largely they have been behind him and been happy to give him a little bit of time. In contrast, there were boos when Thomas Frank made a change at the weekend again. Yeah. Do you get the sense that the frustration for Spurs fans, or it's just, this home form is awful at the moment?
Yeah, it is. And it must be hard to play there for the players, but that's why you pay good money to be a footballers to entertain. And the home fans pay their hard-earned money, and they can voice their opinion. Their opinion might not always be right, but they'll think it's right. And I think it was Xavi Simons who came on, and I mean, come off. They didn't want to come off, and Matthias Tell come on. But then Tell goes and scores the goal. So Thomas Frank, I think he does know what he's doing at times, majority of the time. I think he's gone in there and done well. The thing with Tottenham is not going to be the football that they expected because Thomas Frank's not that kind of manager. We saw what he did at Brentford. They're hard to beat, they're a threat from set pieces, and they get wins, and that's how it is. So if they thought Thomas Frank coming in was going to be attractive football, it's not going to be like that. But he knows, Thomas Frank, because he's a very, very good manager and it's someone who I've got a lot of time and respect for, that he has to be successful at Tottenham and they have to start winning home games because performances like on the weekend, then it's not going to cut with these Tottenham fans because they voice their opinion, Rob.
The thing about playing at home then, I guess it becomes a bit of a vicious circle that you keep not winning and then the fans get more frustrated, rightly so, but then the players look forward to it even less because they know that it's going to turn quicker than it did the week before if you can see the goal again. Yeah,
of course it is. It's difficult, but football is It's probably one of the best sports there is to play football, and it's one of the best jobs to do is to be a professional footballer. If you can't take criticism, don't play the game because, as I said, these people have paid their money, and not always are fans, right? Many a times. I'd voice my opinion with fans if I thought the treatment wasn't good. But at the back of your mind, you've got to realise these are fans. They'll support you when it's going well. When it's not going well, they'll tell you when it's not going well. At the moment, at home, it's not going well. They're voicing their opinions. It was the same when they played Chelsea a few weeks ago. Nowhere near good enough. Chelsea by far miles better than Tottenham. And your home form is meant to be your fortress where you go. Teams don't want to come to Tottenham, but it looks like teams like to come to Tottenham because they think we maybe can get a result, and that's not good at the moment.
The one thing you'd say about Manchester United, we've seen it in two big away games recently. That I was at the game at Anfield when they beat Liverpool. Liverpool scored late on and you thought, oh, here come Liverpool, we know what's going to happen here. And actually, United go up the other end, Harry Maguire wins it. Saturday, they go 2-1 down. They're playing with 10 because Benjamin Šeško's had to come off. And then they go and find themselves an equaliser. So that two games that tells you a little bit about the mentality that Ruben Amorim's got in there.
No, great mentality. Listen, I don't think they'll say Man United have turned the corner, but it's progress, and that's the biggest thing you can do with Ruben Amorim. And to be fair, I'm telling you, they had a great chance, Šeško, when he went through and he let Mickey van der Ven come back at him. So they have got a centre forward who was low on confidence and then went off injured. But the players like the Cunhas and then Buemas, they are delivering at the moment. They've got fantastic captain in Bruno Fernandes. He's a brilliant footballer, and they never say die attitude at the moment, and that was questioned with these Man United players a few months ago.
And he's here. Let's get to some of the other main talking points from the weekend. Clinton has joined me. We'll start with that game again between Spurs and Manchester United. And this moment in particular, the Spurs striker Richarlison made unwanted history over the weekend. He scored what he thought would be the winner against Manchester United, only then for United to equalise. Even later into added time, he was booked for taking his shirt off. Richarlison is now the only player this has happened twice to in the Premier League. Quite incredible, that statistic, that he scored so late and the opposition have gone and scored again. I mean, does he need to stop doing this, or are you kind of all for the emotion?
Listen, I get the emotion. I do get it. He's frustrated. He probably knows a lot of people are talking about him and Tottenham needing a centre forward or needing Solanke back fit. So when you're a centre forward and you think you've scored with literally the winning goal, and then all that emotion gets taken away when delay, I understand. With Richarlison, he's an emotional guy, so I don't think you can ever take that away from him. And when you're celebrating goals, why not celebrate? I'd rather my centre forward celebrate than just walk back to the halfway line and say, I've done my job. So I kind of get it that he celebrates, but don't keep taking your shirt off, because you're going to keep getting booked and you're going to miss football matches.
It's a rule that annoys a lot of people.
It does,
Are you kind of
I
the
think,
opinion to get rid of that
Yeah,
rule?
get rid of that. I think as any player, you should be allowed to celebrate goals in any style you want. I'm not saying jump into the crowd. I totally get that. But when you want to take your shirt off, why are you going to get booked for taking your shirt off?
Top four for Manchester United. Is it there for the taking, Tim?
Yeah, it's there for the taking, that's for sure. I mean, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. So who else? Chelsea would probably put their hand up first, and I would agree with most people who suggest Chelsea.
Villa are getting up there. Villa are just outside now by 1 point.
I think they will be top five, because we'll be so dominant in Europe again, but we won't know till the end of the season. So I think likes of Tottenham and certainly Manchester United, like Gary makes a good point there, with no interruption midweek, so they've got the full training week. This man, Ruben Amorim, talked about how he's a good coach. He gets on the training pitch, he works with the group, he has a lot of downtime for them boys as well. And they're picking up injuries. So that myth of being overplayed, and they picked up 3 injuries at the weekend. I mean, for me, they're getting players, they get undertrained. That's what players do. You know, they've got no excuse to pick up muscle injuries. Why have they picked up muscle injuries? You know, it just happens. That's the reality of it. You know, it's nothing to do with overplaying. You know, they can't argue about overplaying. They're out of the cup. They're not in Europe. It's Premier League to Premier League. He's got all the time in the world to work with them players. That gives them an advantage. It should do. But now they picked three injuries up in one game. You know, how can that be right? You know, you have to ask the sports scientists a few questions, I would suggest.
Well, what's Ruben Amorim done to turn things around on the pitch? Because going into the last international break, they played Sunderland at home.
Yeah.
And it looked like if they didn't get 3 points there, he was under serious pressure. Since then, well, they haven't lost.
Well, what he's done is sign Brian Mbeumo and Cunha, and Mason Mount's got back fit. I'm not sure he's done too much.